Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Community Works. I'm Bernadette Welsh, your host. Each one of our shows highlights a local nonprofit agency in our community. Our goal is to educate you, our viewers, about the great work that's going on all around us every day by local agencies and their supporters, because when people help their neighbors, everybody benefits. The focus of today's show is an explanation and a fundraising effort for a rare disease called myotonic dystrophy. And there is a foundation that supports that. And my guest today is Diane Casella, and she is family who has the disease. And Diane, you're going to explain about the foundation and everything. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me here today, Bernadette. Myotonic dystrophy is a disease that affects about 8,000 people across the country. So it's considered a rare disease, and it's a genetic disorder. So that with each generation that has it, they get it from their parents. So in my family, my husband had it, and we didn't know when we got married that he had this disease. His father had it and his grandfather had it. Once again, we didn't know. So when we think about myotonic dystrophy, it is a form of muscular dystrophy. So it's in that family of diseases, and it attacks and affects your muscles. And when everybody thinks of muscles, we think about our hands and our legs, but we don't think about our heart, our lungs, our mind, and our swallowing. You know, even it affects every part of your living. And the thing with myotonic muscular dystrophy, it's kind of slow moving. So, and I know later on in the show, we're going to talk about how it has affected my family. But genetically, it's basically the DNA, it's called DMPK, that sequence, and it affects the RNA and the proteins that go to the muscles. So when somebody has myotonic dystrophy, the proteins in your body don't go where they're supposed to go, so that your muscles just eventually deteriorate. It's called myotonia, and that's where the name comes from, myotonic dystrophy. There's an organization in California, the Myotonic Dystrophy Foundation, that supports families and communities with this disease, with information, toolkits, and various things to help gain understanding, because I had no idea this disease existed.
I had no idea. I'd never heard of it before, ever. So that's why you're here, Diane. You're going to be here to talk about the disease, but to help us understand, we have some very nicely done videos that were done by the folks out in California. It's animated, so it'll be fun for you to watch. So don't go away. We're going to watch these videos and get a little bit of a better understanding of what it's all about. So here we go to watch our videos.
Imagine waking up one day and realizing your muscles don't quite work the way they used to. This could be the first sign of myotonic dystrophy, or DM. Myotonic dystrophy is an inherited disease and a type of muscular dystrophy that frequently causes prolonged muscle contractions and muscle weakness. It can impact everyday activities. Myotonic dystrophy is caused by an expanded repeat in the DNA that is translated into RNA, which then forms hairpin-like structures and traps important proteins. It comes in two forms, type 1 and type 2. Type 1 is the most common. It is caused by an expansion in the DMPK gene. Type 2 is caused by an expansion in the CNBP gene. The symptoms of myotonic dystrophy can vary a lot. The body systems affected, the severity of symptoms, and the age of onset varies greatly between individuals, even within the same family. As many as 1 in 2,100, or over 3 million individuals worldwide, are affected by the disease. It impacts people of all ages, ethnicities, and backgrounds. Living with myotonic dystrophy means managing symptoms through a combination of clinical care, medications, and/or lifestyle changes. Your doctor will connect you to specialists and work with you and your care team to develop a personalized treatment plan. If you or someone you love has been diagnosed with myotonic dystrophy, remember, you are not alone. Support groups and resources are available to provide guidance and community connections. I have Emma's genetic test results. She has myotonic dystrophy type 1. It is caused by an expanded repeat in a gene. This leads to Emma's symptoms.
How did she get it?
It is inherited. If one parent has it, there's a 50% chance of passing it to their children with each pregnancy.
Did I give it to Emma or did John?
Emma could have inherited myotonic dystrophy from either of you. You mentioned your father had early cataracts and muscle weakness. Both could have been symptoms of myotonic dystrophy.
How can we find out?
You and John should get tested. You may have inherited the expanded gene from your dad and passed it on to Emma. Or John may have inherited it from his mother or father and passed it on to Emma.
If we don't have any symptoms, why is Emma sick?
Symptoms can manifest later in life and may worsen from one generation to the next. Doctors call this anticipation. Testing will provide clarity and help us understand the risk for your family and future children.
Wasn't that a great video? It gives you a good idea about the disease in a form that we could all understand. And if you'd like to watch it again, we're going to give you the information to go on the website so that you could listen again and learn more about the disease. Don't you think that's a good idea, Diane?
I think that was wonderful. And there's so much information on the website.
For sure. Okay, so now that we've got a really good understanding of what we're talking about, Diane, would you care to share with us the story of your family with myotonic dystrophy?
Sure. So when I got married to my husband, Ed, he had the disease, but we didn't know it. So it wasn't until he was about 40, so he's 60 now, so we're looking, back 20 years really, that we started to notice strange things. His tongue would go numb for no reason. He was having trouble holding on to things, gripping things, opening doors. He used to play golf, couldn't hold on to the club anymore.
Got it.
So what we were like, that was, interesting. Wound up with cataracts, 2, double cataracts very early on, which was kind of odd. His father had a full head of hair and he was starting to bald. So just these weird little things that we just couldn't put our finger on. Then I noticed that even his walking was starting to change a little bit. So went to the doctors, and it was 4 different neurologists, about 8 years, still didn't have a clear picture of what was wrong. Then my stepdaughter, Jennifer, she was having some issues in school, some cognitive issues, and they were just trying to figure out kind of what her issues were and what was going on. So her mom took her to see a neurologist who picked it up almost immediately. It was, so at that moment they were, still trying to figure out what it was, but we definitely figured that even though the differences in they were exhibiting, the symptoms that they were exhibiting from this disease were different, they kind of knew that there's a good chance that it was related. So both of them wound up getting tested for...
Okay. So there are tests for the disease?
There's a genetic marker.
Oh, okay.
That shows that you have this disease, and you saw that in the video. And so my family has DM1. So that's the one that I'm more knowledgeable about because once I found out that this was what they had, I just started learning everything that I possibly could. Things like you wouldn't even realize, anesthesia. You can, if you don't know you have this disease, you can go under anesthesia and never come up.
Oh, of course, because the muscle would just stop.
Right. So there's all of these little things that, people may have had it and died from it without even ever knowing that they had
it wasn't the fault of the anesthesia. No.
Right. So there's a lot of little things that go along with learning about this disease. So Ed had it, and then we figured out that his father had it and his grandfather had it. And once you know what to look for, one of the clearest telltale signs is the handshake. Someone with myotonic dystrophy will shake your hand and shake my hand.
Okay.
So, and we're shaking hands. Now, the grip would be like that.
Oh.
And then as you go away, the hand doesn't kind of contract.
I get it. Oh, I get it. Yeah.
So that's one of the clearest indicators of myotonia in the hands, and that tends to happen sooner.
Okay,
than
so
later.
that's kind of one of the first signs.
Yeah.
Is the hands or
Is the
the
hands.
arms.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and as I said earlier, it affects every muscle in your body. So that was what happened with my husband and my stepdaughter, and then my son Jake. So we have twins.
Yes.
And that whole 50-50 chance of the twins having the myotonic.
Because they're not identical twins, they're
fraternal
twins.
twins.
Boy, girl.
Right. And so one has it, one does not.
Wow.
And so Jake has myotonic dystrophy. Julia does not. Julia will never have it. She will never pass it on.
Right. It's not part of her genetic makeup.
It's not part of her genetic makeup. But for Jake, it is.
Yes.
And so Jake and Julia were going to college and had to do a physical exam. So we go to the doctor, and doctor picks up something. And so later that day, we were in the emergency room and in pediatric cardiac ICU.
Wow.
And so Jake, was having issues with his heart. And so they did an ablation to try to get it back in rhythm. That didn't work. So Jake now has a pacemaker defibrillator at age 18, and he is now 23.
Okay.
And thank goodness they caught it, because that could have been something
and then he could have done some athletic thing and not made it home.
Correct.
Got it. Okay. So we were talking about this before the show, Diane, that just because you have a certain condition doesn't mean that you can't have a decent quality of life. So how can a person with this condition have the best life from your perspective with your family? Teach us how we can do this.
So with my family, one of the first things that we decided to do is not wait. There's a Tim McGraw song, Live Like You Were Dying.
Yeah, live like you were dying. Yeah.
So we embraced that, and we said, we're not waiting. So we took the family trip. We eat meals together. We say, I love you more than most people probably would. And it's the idea, and my husband, he recognizes that how he handles it, the kids see how he handles it, so he wants to make sure that they know that you have this disease, but you make the best life that you can. You don't give up hope. And that's part of the reason that we're really working on this fundraiser, to bring about awareness.
Yes.
So that, pharmaceutical companies are really working at, there's no cure.
Right, we know there's no cure yet.
There's no treatment yet.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Most diseases don't have a cure, but there are treatments. So there's not even treatments yet.
That can slow the progression. There are treatments that help with managing symptoms.
Okay.
Which is wonderful. We have a great team that works with my whole family. Everybody has a cardiologist. Everybody has gastrointestinal doctors. We have physical therapists. We have occupational therapists.
The physical therapy thing helps to keep the muscles moving.
Mm-hmm. Because your muscles are deteriorating. So by building up the muscles, it helps. My husband, he can't walk for very long or stand for very long, but he still gets out there and he walks, and he goes to his trainer once a week.
I love
and
it.
He works on those muscles. Jennifer, unfortunately, was affected a little more cognitively. So she's not really working and she wasn't able to go to college. Where Jake was able to go to college, Jake drives. And he does more. That idea of anticipation, did I talk about that at all yet?
Yeah, you said, in other words, with each generation that passes on the disease, the effects are augmented because the effect on the genes, it has to do with proteins and things like that.
Right. So with each successive generation, your symptoms come on faster, sooner.
Right.
And a lot of times they're more severe.
Right.
So Jennifer she is affected more cognitively, and she has some lung issues. Jake definitely had more of the heart issues. But, other than that, was able to graduate college, and, has a job at Target, loves his job. Makes, the social aspects, making friends and really living that life
this is good.
as best as they can.
And I think that what you're trying to tell us is by having this fundraiser and raising awareness and supporting research, that maybe folks like your son and other kids that have it will have a hope of some kind of a cure or a better treatment.
Yes, better treatment. I mean, even if they just stop the progression of the disease.
Or slow it down.
Slow it down.
Yeah,
slow it down.
Yeah, for sure.
The quality of life would improve.
For sure. That is very important for folks to know, because I do know a lot of people that get sick, their attitude affects how they are.
Absolutely.
And you and I, if we're having a bad day, we might not be very nice to other people. When we're having a good day, it's like everything is okay.
Right.
It's attitude.
I think a side effect of an incurable disease would be some level of depression.
Yes. How could you not?
How could you not? But it also is about perspective and choosing, because we all can make the choice to live the life that we want.
I love it.
And so by choosing to have hope, by choosing to show your children the love and that you can have this disease. And we have done such great family vacations. We have created memories that will last all of us a lifetime.
For sure.
Because life is unpredictable. We don't know.
You don't know. You could be in an automobile accident.
Exactly.
Anything can happen. So I think that's very important for all of us to understand the life lessons.
Absolutely.
And that's great. Okay, so we don't want to miss out any of these good questions.
Okay.
So let's talk about this fundraiser. And Victor is going to put up, my wonderful director, is going to put up there we are.
There we are.
Diane, tell us about this amazing fundraiser. What are you going to do?
So, Small Batch Cellars, which is a winery in North Haven. Okay. Yay, North Haven.
Yay, North Haven.
They are supporting us in our fundraising journey. So we have a band called the Blue Hounds, and they're wonderful.
Okay.
And we are raising money and awareness about myotonic dystrophy, so that hopefully, pharmaceutical companies and research will continue and really help to either find a cure or just find something that stops the progression of this disease. So it's 37 Nettleton Avenue.
Yes.
It's in North Haven. So
right
it's
off
going
the
to be
main drag.
Yeah, right off the main drag.
And when is it? I know we're seeing it. It's Friday, April 24th.
Yep.
That's coming up pretty quick.
It's coming up pretty quick, and it's going to be a great time. We're going to have raffles. We're going to have some light snacks, great music, great people, great wine. Just an awesome, good time for a good cause.
I love it.
And, and obviously one that is dear to me.
Absolutely.
And I always think of the hands, every hand, every helping hand helps.
Absolutely.
So,
and I want folks to know, if you can't possibly make it to the fundraiser, we are going to put up some information for a website that is specific to Diane's fundraiser with Batch Cellars Winery, and you could just make a donation.
Sure.
So we'd love to see you at the fundraiser, but don't despair. If you can't do that, you can always make a donation and do something to improve the lives of people that you don't know, but you're helping them anyway. And you know Diane now, so what's better
Thanks.
than that?
Casella Crusaders is our team name.
Okay.
And
that's right. Casella, because you're Diane Casella.
Diane Casella. So Casella Crusaders, and the idea that we're trying to really just continue to raise this level of awareness for this disease.
For sure. And that's why we want people to go and look at that website too. So we saw the 2 videos that came off of the website, but I looked at it. There's a ton of information on there. And there's also a donate button, but that donate button goes to the national organization, and the website that we're going to put up later goes to you. So
so donate to Casella Crusaders.
Yes,
and that's just for our fundraising team. I mean, all the money goes to myotonic dystrophy, and really to continue that research so that people with this disease, because it's not going anywhere, you know, with each generation, it's not going to go away.
And you have goals. I mean, you had goals that you want to reach, and so we're going to try, by doing this program, we're going to try to help you do that.
Thank you.
And that is just so cool. I
can't thank you enough, Bernadette. This is wonderful.
You're welcome. Okay, so we have been talking around this idea of managing to live with myotonic dystrophy. What else can we talk about this in our remaining minutes that we have together? Is there something we missed? What else can we say? What do you think, Diane?
I think with any disease that someone has, the biggest part is to not lose hope. And, you know, the idea that, you know, you sit and have dinner together, or you go out and do something together, and you never forget to say, I love you. Because whether someone has a disease or not, you walk out the door and something can happen to you or those people that we love, and those moments of maybe regret that you didn't say something positive to someone. And I think when you have family members that have a disease like this, that piece of life gets exacerbated. The idea that I can say I love you, I can't say it enough.
Right.
Because I don't know if you're going to be here tomorrow.
Yep. Every day is precious.
And I know it sounds silly, but, you know, every time my husband takes something to eat, I don't know if he's going to choke on it.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Because right now, you know, swallowing is a muscle. So, and it could be your heart, it could be your lungs. You know, when COVID happened, that was really scary.
Oh, I bet it was scary.
Because we just didn't, you know, on a person without a disease, it affected you a certain way. People who already are
struggling with
a disease, it just made it those times even scarier.
Yes.
So I think, you know, when we think about how we live our lives, taking care of each other, really caring about, you know, our neighbor.
Yes.
Because you don't know the struggles that anyone else is going through. You don't know. I mean, people know something's wrong with my husband. You know, when you see him, you can tell when he's walking, but nobody knows what the disease is or what it's about.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, being on the show today is really about looking at, you know, those nonprofit organizations that help the people in our communities. And myotonic dystrophy is that. Even though they're from they're out in California.
Yeah, they're out in California.
They're always in contact with us, and, you know, doing this fundraiser, they've been wonderful. They even, I have my little band that I'm wearing right now.
Okay.
They sent us the little bands, you know, that we're going to have at the fundraiser.
Of course.
And, you know, just little things like that just mean a lot.
I think it for sure it does. Well, this has been a wonderful conversation. Have we learned a lot, folks? I think we've learned a lot. We've learned about a genetic disease that right now has no cure, and there aren't a lot of treatments for it. And we've learned that Diane is doing a fundraiser on April 24th, and we'd like you all to pay attention to that. So, like everything else, how you look at life affects how you enjoy your life. So I hope you all are enjoying your life, and that you can do something to help the folks with myotonic dystrophy. Because when people help their neighbors, everybody benefits. We'll see you again real soon. Bye for now.